Well, like I said after the game, it was a tough loss against a very good football team. But, you know, when you look at our defense, first of all, we really had two different halves. You know, in the first half, we were doing things right. We were playing fast. We were playing with great effort. We tackled well. We would have got every single one of our goals on defense in the first half. And then in the second half, it was complete opposite. You know, we made errors in the calls. We didn't play as fast and as hard as we need to or we're used to playing. We're used to playing with much better effort than that. We didn't tackle well, and we didn't get as much pressure on the quarterback. And when you play against a good team like that with an elite running back, he magnifies your errors because of his speed and his ability to cut and go the distance. So, you know, we weren't at all happy with our defense in the second half. Watched the video yesterday. It's a hard meeting when you watch video like that. But that's what you need to do to work and improve and get better. Offensively, overall, we took some strides forward. We did some things a lot better offensively. Number one, our offensive front played better. It was probably their best game of the year. They were communicating. They picked up blitzes. They worked hard against you know, some really good defensive linemen. Gave us time to get the ball down the field. We made more big plays throwing the ball. I think that Lamar took a step in the right direction in our passing game and understanding coverages and where to go with the football. And we got some huge plays with James Quick, but also, you know, Staples made some really good catches away from his body, and we were able to, you know, move the ball and get it in the end zone. Got a lot of production out of Reggie, which was good to see, you know, carrying the ball, catching the ball, and really helping us, and we got to continue to grow that and, you know, understand that he's a very good football player. We are looking forward to the Boston College game. They're a very, very good defense. Right now they're the #1 defense in the country. They play physical. They're playing a lot more man coverage where they're coming up and challenging receivers. So that's kind of different than what they did a year ago. But it is a lot of the same guys we went against a year ago, but they are playing really well. No one's been able to run the ball very well against them right now. And then offensively, they've had their struggles, kind of like we have with a young team. So it's a game that we need to win. There's no question about it. We need to come home, play well, and get a win, and you know, get some momentum going.
This might not be answerable, but why would there be such a swing from first half to second half in the defensive performance?
Yeah, I mean, that's the great question. You know, the same question I have, the same one we're trying to answer. You know, in the first drive, we missed a couple things on what we were supposed to do assignment-wise. We missed tackles. You know, I don't understand how a couple guys don't play as fast and with as much effort as they normally do that early in the third quarter. We had a couple guys that were just trying to strip the ball instead of tackle, you know, the running back. I do think when we lost Keith Kelsey, it takes a little bit away from our defense because he's certainly one of the guys out there that does a lot of the leading, makes the calls, and we lost our poise a little bit and just didn't play as well as we need to.
You said after the game that you didn't think at times there were guys who weren't playing as hard as they could. How do you keep that from happening again?
Yeah, well, we addressed it like we did yesterday. You know, you watch the video and you ask, are you doing what you're coached to do? And are you playing with great effort? And, you know, you play it over and over again. And we have guys that are very competitive. It's a hard day for them watching that video. But we can't accept it. They can't accept it. Their teammates can't accept it. And we just got to grow together and make sure it doesn't happen.
You're not getting great effort. What are the consequences?
Yeah, I mean, you work the depth chart and you try to find someone who step up and take their spot. But there's no question that, you know, number one, you got to be able to look at your teammates in the eyes, look in the mirror, and, you know, try to address it. Why did I not play the way I normally play? Why didn't I sprint to the ball full speed there? And we've got to demand that it happens. You know, that's the #1 thing I think coaching is is your ability to confront and demand. And we certainly confronted it, and now we'll demand it. We'll do a better job in practice of making sure we're running full speed to the ball every single play, you know, and I thought we got tired too. I thought, you know, some of it was that we couldn't get off the field on third down, and when you can't get off the field on third down, you're out there a long time in a hot day, and, you know, we got tired at times. We did rotate a lot of guys in there on the defensive front, tried to keep them fresh. It really paid off in our pass rush in the first half, but not so much in the second half. No, we're just going to go out and practice and work hard and challenge them to do things right and play with great effort and practice. I don't know about that. I know there was a number of plays, like some of the other guys on defense, where he didn't play as hard as he needs to. He didn't run full speed to the ball. He had an opportunity to make a couple plays, and he didn't do it. I talked with him last night. You know, he promised me it will never happen again. And that's it. You know, he came to me. I didn't have to seek him out. So I guess that's a good thing. But now we got to see it. You know, you got to show it. And that's kind of what I told him is it's a show me world. So let's show me.
How's Keith Kelsey doing?
I think he's going to be okay. You know, he's going to have to go through the protocol that's required. But he did get some exercise in without any effects. So we're very optimistic that he's going to be okay.
Keith Brown will miss first half.
He'll be out the first half, right? He wasn't diagnosed with a concussion, but he is going through that protocol. Yeah, it kind of depends on what, you know, personnel group we're out there. But I would imagine what we'll do right now is get Travion out there with Fields, one on one side, one on the other. Stacy Thomas rotated from inside to outside the other day on some of the calls. But, you know, I thought Travion did a really nice job in rushing the passer, made some really good plays for us. He's kind of been our edge rusher right now, the guy with the most quickness off the ball and ability to get to the quarterback. So we need to get him out there more. He did, yeah. He's back in practice. It was his first week back to practice. He did a pretty good job. He actually was able to go, you know, the first part of the week, we just did all short routes with him and tried to make sure he didn't overextend and, you know, try to run balls down, try to take care of them. By the end of the week, he was running every route. We threw him some deep balls. He did a good job. We'll see how he progresses this week. He certainly wasn't in a position to get into the game, but he didn't have enough reps, and we hadn't seen him enough to be able to put him into the game. But it was good to get him on the trip and travel and warm up and go through everything.
You mentioned this game this weekend is one that you need. Sorry. You mentioned this. Is he possible?
Hopefully he stays healthy and makes it through the week. Yeah, he still has to, you know, show us that he can produce and practice to get him in a game.
You mentioned this game this weekend is one you need. What's the team mindset, do you think, so far?
Yeah, I think what we need to do is just practice and worry about one game at a time, and that's Boston College right now. And all we got to do is throw the video on, and you see how well they play defensively, how people have a hard time moving the ball. You know, how people have a hard time running the ball against them, and we know it's a great challenge for us. And, you know, going into the game last year, we knew they were a real physical team. I thought our guys reacted to the challenge and did a good job, but we've got to do that this year.
Why are they so effective against the run?
They just are real sturdy inside. They use good technique. They use their hands. They got a linebacker they list him a little lighter this year than a year ago, so I think they're listing him at 242. But he is a 250 guy that can run and plays very physical. They play hard. They're well coached and they play hard.
In the way they play defense, are they similar at all to Florida State? Florida State also has
I mean, some of their fronts are similar, but they do a little different things coverage-wise. But the way they play and some of their front looks and some of the technique that they use are similar.
You've had not everything happen on the field probably during your coaching career, but such a good defensive first half and such a bad second, how much does that keep you up even more at night?
Yeah.
Have you had it?
I don't think I've ever had one like that. You know, I think maybe the, you know, that one West Virginia game when we hurt their starting quarterback, and then they brought in Pat White. You know, that was a lesson. You know, I remember being at the Gator Bowl, and our then mayor came up to me and said, "Hey, I always wanted to tell you something." And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "If the starting quarterback's not hurting you, don't hurt him." And I was like, "Yeah, no doubt. No doubt," because, you know, that was a game where we were in complete control, and he came in and ran all over crazy on us. But, yeah, I've never really had one like this. You know, I felt really good about where we were at halftime. I felt good about the way the offense responded in the third quarter and went right down and scored after they scored, and we took the lead back again. And then it was long. Then it got long.
What about Lamar's performance in the past there, I think?
Yeah, like I said, he showed some improvement. He showed some improvement on understanding coverages, seeing different looks, going through progression. He stood in the pocket better at times and made throws. You know, the long touchdown throw to Quick, the third touchdown throw to Quick, you know, he got hit high and low right after he delivered the ball and made a really nice throw on that. So he did a much better job of executing, and guys made plays for him. That's kind of a thing that, you know, we've been working hard to get, is where everyone just starts making plays, and it was good to see that happen.
Didn't play the other day. Was he injured or?
No, that was just a result of the other guys practicing harder and faster.
You mentioned Lamar, something about his awareness after the game. Is that something you're disappointed with right now? What exactly do you mean by his awareness on the field?
Well, on that one blitz, you got to be aware that there's a guy coming and understand it, and, you know, see it pre-snap. He knew the progression. He knew the route that we had, but he should have been able to be aware that they took their nickel and put him to the boundary with the corner and a linebacker, and things were coming, and, you know, and that's how you grow up and learn. You know, I think we saw a fifth-year senior quarterback that had been through his struggles, throw balls away, you know, take care of the ball, not get sacked, and then we had the turnover. And the second turnover, he saw him coming to break open into the area. He threw the ball early like you have to, and they tripped and fell. You know, you live with that one. But the first one, you just want to be aware that pressure's coming and take care of the ball, or get it out. You know, get it out, beat the blitz, and that's the one thing that we need to improve on.
How did the offensive line evolve over the last 2 weeks, and what do you want to see from them this week?
Well, I think that first and foremost, they did a much better job of communication. You know, communicating calls, understanding what's coming, knowing different techniques, and we saw that through the last 2 weeks in practice. I was much more impressed with them and how focused they were and working on that. I do think they worked hard on their technique in the last 2 weeks. We did a good job blocking the edge. We did a good job inside for the most part. We got our doubles where you could and get help where you could. So there was a lot of improvement there. We're still not strong enough running the ball, getting enough, you know, out of our backs running the ball, and it starts with the offensive line, you know, punching the ball. But there certainly was a lot of improvement.
How much of that is consistency as you talk about offensive line, where you've gotten a couple games now where, for the most part, it's been the
same guys, yeah. I think that definitely helped us, you know, and I thought Keola came in there and played extremely hard. He is physical. He did a good job with his assignments, which was really good for me to see.
Bobby, is this what you expected to get quick, big plays like that, big plays down the field?
Yeah, I think James is very capable of doing that. He did it in spring ball, you know. I thought he got off to a pretty good start this year. Came back from injury, and actually came back quicker than I thought he would. And he's a guy that's real explosive and is really into the game. He plays extremely hard. He was competing extremely hard out there, and came up with some really good plays for us. So he was into the matchups, he understood when he had a great matchup and what to do to win on it. So I was happy with his performance.
You talk about long-range goals with the team, the 2 and 4. Where do you go from there?
Well, what you got to do is say, okay, whether we were 2 and 4, 4 and 2, or whatever, you got to put everything behind you and move forward. We do want to get the seniors to a bowl game. I think that's something that's real important. It helps our young guys practice more and get better. But the number one way to do that is to just focus on this Boston College game. That's what you really have to do, is just focus on this game right now, at home, on homecoming, and come out and perform well for 4 quarters. Do what you're coached to do, play hard, play with great effort for 4 quarters.
Harder to demand and motivate players when you start out with sensing they're coming up with that.
I didn't, no. In fact, I was kind of impressed, with the way we, stuck together and the way we practiced and the attitude. I think this one will challenge us a little bit more than when we were 0-3, because we prepared for this game for 2 weeks. We thought we had a really good plan. We went out, we were right there, and then we let it go. And then we didn't play as hard as we should play. So I think this one challenges us more than when we were 0-3. This is a big week for us to come back and get some leadership from within the team and practice hard and practice with purpose and really do a good job preparing for this game.
In your mind, is there something that explains why you would have a lack of
No. In my however many years I've been coaching, it's really the first time I've seen it. I just don't get it. I really don't. I don't get, and it wasn't just effort. I want to reiterate that we had some errors. Like the second touchdown pass was an error. Didn't get the call, so we didn't get a blitz off the edge, which allowed him to get some time to make the throw. It was a great throw and a great catch and run. But no, it's something that I don't understand.
You're taking a very even tone here. Can we assume that players are doing a different volume?
I don't know. Not really. I think sometimes when you really want to make a point, you speak a little softer than normal.
You talked about Boston College's defense. Why are they having so much trouble offensively? They've averaged 6 points in 4 ACC games.
Yeah, they're very young too, and they've had 3 quarterbacks, had some injuries, and they're going to challenge you with their scheme, because they'll run the ball more than we've seen people run the ball all year long. They're going to give us 3 tight ends, 4 tight ends, run the power play at you, try to work the clock, play some defense with their offense. So it's going to be a new kind of challenge in defending them.
You mentioned Reggie earlier. Just talk about that set you got with him and Lamar in there. And it seems to be working when he's running the ball. You're getting your best games out of Reggie with the ball.
Yeah, he's a very good runner and did a nice job on the catch out of the backfield. A couple of them, actually. We just have to expand his role and get him the ball more. I need to get him in there more, get him the ball more. I felt good about it when he was in the game. He's very smart. He knows what's going on because of his experience at quarterback. So he actually did some things better than I even thought he would, just because he knows the offense and he knows what everyone's supposed to do.
Last question here.
When you play a schedule like that, what kind of things, pluses are you seeing with this team? What do you think they're learning from this tough first half schedule?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing we need to understand is we've been against really good players, with the exception of the last quarter and a half the other day, or the last 2 quarters the other day. We've been in the game in a position to win. And, we need to grow up and learn how to win those close games. So, I think there's no question that we've played good football teams, but we need to learn how to win those games. That's what we need to learn how to do.